One of the best things about a diagnosis is that it's an explanation for behaviors that you or others may have seen as irregular. But that's not the case online. Instead of being an explanation, mental disorders have become a definition for those behaviors. Do you procrastinate? Do you drink a lot of coffee? Do you listen to the same song on repeat?
I do that.
When you present ADHD as a lifestyle filled with, to be honest, common behaviors, I feel like we stray further away from explaining it, thus understanding it, as a legitimate mental disorder. So instead of putting ADHD on this reductive high pedestal where we look up and the flare of the sun makes our eyes squint, giving ADHD that 21:9 aspect ratio, an aspect ratio notorious for making things look cinematic, romanticized by this my life is a movie generation, this is me suffering from ADHD. Disclaimer, not a doctor, this is purely my experience with ADHD. The research I did was minimal, but I did do research, and I verified everything through my buddy Dylan. Most treatment for ADHD is stimulant medication, but scrolling through the tags, it was weird to see no one bring up the troubles of having a life that revolves around stimulation. The human brain needs healthy levels of dopamine and norepinephrine, because without those chemicals, this happens. Sorry if I made you pause. ADHD brains have a dysfunctional dopamine system and a deficiency in norepinephrine. Naturally, we prefer to feel normal, so our brain assigns itself an objective. Seek stimulation so more neurotransmitters are released so the brain chemicals can become perfectly balanced.
As all things should be.
Because of this, we gravitate to the most instantaneous and accessible source of dopamine. A kid in the classroom will be disruptive. An adult with responsibilities will be distracted. Behind both instances is us redirecting ourselves into a more rewarding situation. So what happens if I'm in a situation my own brain deems not engaging? This is me in high school. I could have been on Adderall with a long black mixed with Monster Energy and had a good night's sleep of 24 hours. It doesn't matter. My brain will just... This happened with church, lectures, Riverdale. There's a lack of research for this, but with ADHD, it is physically painful to be bored. It hurts. It's something we avoid at all costs. I literally get headaches playing Minecraft because it's just tedious task like... Even editing that segment was painful. But you know what game does provide me with stimulus? I fucking love Tetris. If I had to choose between my best friend and Tetris, you know what I'd choose? My best friend, but Tetris is still... Anyways, entering young adulthood, ADHD particularly sucks because you're forced to do life. You have responsibilities that are void of stimulus, and you're forced to pause your intake of dopamine to attend to those responsibilities. At least, you should be pausing your intake of dopamine to attend to those responsibilities. My procrastination game is unparalleled. Take it away, 19-year-old me. So I'm doing an assignment on Asian representation in cinema which brought me to Mulan, then naturally the live-action remake. I found out the main actress appeared in this old film I liked during my Jackie Chan phase called The Forbidden Kingdom. Wanting to relive nostalgia, I rewatched the fight scene between Jackie Chan and Jet Li, and I said I may as well watch the climax of the film, but because I've watched the climax, I've forgotten everything that led up to it, but I don't want to watch the film because I have an assignment due, so instead I go to the Wikipedia and read the plot, and in a new tab I curiously see what the main actor has been in, and he was in Sky High, and he looks like an awful lot like the guy from Alita Battle Angel, but turns out it wasn't. I go back to the Forbidden Kingdom, which I learnt was based on the Monkey King, which they made a movie of starring Donnie Yen, who is in the live-action Mulan movie, and with Jet Li too. I love Donnie Yen, so I start rewatching a ton of Ip Man Bruce Lee scenes. I read about Bruce Lee and the actors who portray him. Danny Chan is superior to Mike Moh, who portrayed him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I keep watching the Ip Man fight scenes, then I come across Ip Man vs the Twister boxing. Let's watch some boxing. I put on Creed 1, Creed 2, YouTube sidebar recommends me the Dune trailer. I love Deneve's works, where I rewatch some Blade Runner 2049, then I go on Twitter, and now the assignment is due in 3 hours, and I've only done the title page. Now, we allow ourselves to do this because A, our perception of time is doo-doo, and B, the goddamn prefrontal cortex. The general academic, scientific, and mathematic consensus is that the ADHD brain has maturational dysregulation. It develops slower. And that affects our prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for regulating thoughts, emotions, actions through the information of all the other brain regions. Look up executive function or look at this source. You know how you have dialogue options in video games and a timer, and you think about how you want to progress the narrative, you think about the relationship between the characters, you think about how you want to be perceived? A regular person would use that timer. Me? Hey, I'm just gonna go get some pizza. I was just wondering what flavor. Go f*** yourself. It's not just the things we say, but also the things we do. A weak prefrontal cortex means that I'm prone to impulsivity, intrusive thoughts, irresponsible behavior because I genuinely lack the mental facilities to go,
"Are you sure about that?"
Speaking of Family Guy, you know how characters aren't aware of things unless it's actually in the camera frame?
Oink. Oh my god!
Object permanence, but it's not just with objects, it's also with the consequences of my actions. ADHD behavior is doing things without the bigger picture in mind. It's just doing things. And sometimes it's just not doing things. I have said the wrong things to people that led to an emotional breakdown and a sad playlist on Spotify. I have deprived myself of sleep because I reject reasonable bedtimes in favour of my yearly rewatching of the Code Lyoko series finale. I miscalculate the time it takes for me to get ready to leave the house, so I'm notorious for my poor punctuality. Which for someone with a degree in literature is pretty f***ing ironic. Executive dysfunction is also what's behind ADHD paralysis. Now, it's just a theory! But the way that I'd explain it is that it's a combination of avoiding stimulus lacking task while also being unable to feel the bigger picture. I think of it like a mana system where you need this amount of mana to perform certain abilities, but my mana bar is just malfunctioned and I'm not generating any mana, so I can only perform the basic moves, which in this case is YouTube or Tetris, but then I'll pop a pill and then my mana bar goes boom and then I go sicko mode. Also, I don't play League. But that's genuinely the best way I can describe it. So whenever I had an assignment that was due tomorrow, I did not feel the urgency nor the appeal of writing an essay that was void of stimulus. Instead, I would pick up another shift, or I would clean my room, or I would do someone else's assignment. That's how you end up with an academic history that looks like this.
Wow.
It was three! Can't keep getting away with it!
I am continuously afraid whether or not I am capable, let alone if I belong in the real world. I am legally an adult, but doesn't look like it. And I fear that my past struggles with responsibility indicate my life is destined to be doomed. Medication is great and all, except Vyvanse. All my homies hate Vyvanse. But it isn't a cure. There is yet to be a cure for ADHD. So instead, we've just got the mental fortitude that I will eventually be okay. I mean that, and also this article here that discusses how ADHD symptoms and performance are context dependent. With most of the things I've said today, it's mainly the surrounding environment that highlight those symptoms that lead to those consequences. But there exists environments that basically neutralize your ADHD. For example, yes, my work ethic was questionable, but that was when I was doing assignments at my home desk. Meanwhile, during my 9-to-5 internships, despite everything, I can't deny that if I've made it this far, I can make it further. Obviously, I had support from the university, hence that, but that's why these resources are here in the first place. If you decline the offer to lessen the blow, you're essentially asking for it to hurt. Truth is, I'm not doomed. Fuck! Truth is, I'm not doomed. I just need to establish better environments in my life that don't make me want to go. I went back to my elementary school after 8 years, and when I was catching up with my old teachers, I told them I had been diagnosed with ADHD. 3 of them collectively went,
Oh my god. I get it.
Hopefully this video provides more of an understanding of ADHD beyond
Top 10 signs you have ADHD.
or
If you have ADHD, you can relate to this.
general rule of thumb with therapy is that understanding is the first step towards recovery. I don't know who said that, but let me check. J.K. Rowling said that? But she's a cunt! Yeah, fun fact, I ain't ever watched or read Harry Potter. Doesn't that make me cool? No, because media consumption is not the measurement of one's coolness. Anyways, that was ADHD explained by me. Thank you for making it this far, I appreciate it dearly. like and subscribe. I don't usually talk to the camera, so I don't know how I want to do my outros.